All right, young artists, welcome back to the almighty junkie drawing table where images come true in the form of drawings. So say hello to the squeaky chair, and hopefully the angry camera is not angry this morning. Yes, it is. Already, it's angry. Hello, angry camera. Focus on me. We got some work to do. So today I want to focus on showing you guys how to draw heads and faces. So there's a lot of information. So what I want to do is just break it down into small bits so that you guys can kind of do some homework and practice on your own. It's really simple to draw heads. It's really simple to draw all together, but I'm going to show you in steps. So I always say drawing is like putting a puzzle together. If I give you a puzzle of 5 or 7, let's say a 10-piece puzzle, just big old pieces. The first time you put it together, it may take a few minutes. The second time is going to take less time. Third time is going to take even less time, to where you get to the point where you could just, and the puzzle's done. And that's what drawing is, because it's just putting the pieces together in the right place. So we're going to start out with drawing some heads, because I know when you draw, all artists like to draw people. You might want to draw yourself, you might want to draw your parents, you might want to draw superheroes, or just create some characters for yourself, because one day you might do a comic book. All right, so let's start out with some shapes. And first of all, this is my paper straight up, but I always draw from the side. I don't know, I've always done that, and I write even more to the side. So if I turn my paper to the side, don't worry about it. It's just how I draw. So, and I'm sure that some of you turn your papers sideways to draw as well. So first thing we want to do is start out with a circle. We always use shapes. We always start out with shapes because shapes are everything. This piece of paper is a rectangle. The monitor you're looking at is a rectangle. This is a rectangle cylinder. So everything is a shape. Angry camera, you are really having a hard time today. So let's show some more yellow paper. Let's take the yellow paper out. Yeah, look at that. All right, so anyway, let's do this. You have your circle, right? We have a circle. We have an oval. Okay, and we have a V. Today we're going to do a V. We're going to use the letter V. So these are the shapes that we're going to kind of concern ourselves with, and plus we're going to have the rectangle like that. Okay, now, we focus, angry camera? All right, so now what's the difference between a rectangle and a square? A square is perfect on all sides. So if this was like 5 inches, this would have to be 5 inches. This would be another 5 inches, and this would be another 5 inches. So it's perfectly shaped. So that's the difference between a square and a rectangle. A rectangle is just a square, just pulled down to make it longer. One side is longer than the other side. So that's only the difference. So we have these 3 shapes, and we're going to concentrate on these 3 shapes. So to draw the head, you can either draw it with one shape, or you can put 2 shapes together. And if it's hard for you, we'll put 2 shapes together. So let's start out with the V. Well, let's start out with the circle. Let's just say we'll do a circle, and then on a circle, we'll add a V. We'll put a V to it. Now, this is just like doing an ice cream cone, or a snow cone. This is a snow cone. And if I did something like this, then you'd have an ice cream cone. You would just make this longer, and you have an ice cream cone. Okay, so that's an added bonus I just showed you guys. So let's do that again. Let's do this circle, and let's add a V. Don't make the V too long, okay? Now there's my V right here. So that's a snow cone with a very small cone. So now we have this circle and a small V. We want to, I'll slow down just in case you're drawing with me. You want to take this point, you want to round it off just like this. You want to round it off just like this. So what you have, and I bought some markers so I can start getting some color to my drawings. So let me quickly open it up and use a color. So what you have left over is this. You're going to have this right there, because you're going to erase this part right here, and then you're going to have basically that egg shape. A lot of people hard to draw egg, so this is an easy way to draw egg. You're just taking your triangle or your V. Well, a triangle would be cut like that. You're just taking the letter V and then you're rounding it off just like that to make the shape of that head. Like that. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't worry about it. Now you're saying, oh, that really doesn't look like a head. But let's add some more to it. Let's just put some ears to it. Let's put some ears right here and right here and put a neck right here. Now you see that face. The hard part is putting the rest of the body, adding the face to it. You see the head. The rest is adding the face to it. So let's do this. Let's split that right down the middle. Because you have 2 eyes, 2 ears, two hands, 2 legs, 2 feet. So basically the whole body is just one split down the middle, and you have the same thing on the opposite side. So now let's before we put faces in that, let's do this. Let's use this rectangle. Now if you're struggling with this, if you can just do an oval, if you can say, all right, I'll do the oval. The oval can be the same thing. You know, you have your neck, you have your ears, and then you have your face. The only thing is you don't really want your chin to be as wide as your head, but in the beginning it's fine. So if you're saying, oh, I'm having trouble drawing that, it doesn't look right, don't worry about it. You didn't put that puzzle together in 2 seconds when you first got it. It's going to take you a minute to put that puzzle together. So practice, practice, practice. So let's do this rectangle. Now, if you're having a hard time doing a box or rectangle, remember the letter E, like that, minus this part. You can draw the E, or you can make the E, like that, minus that. But it's not going to be a square, it's going to be a rectangle. So, like that. Just make it, don't make it too long, but don't make it a square. Bring it down a little bit more. So, right here, I have my rectangle. Now what I want to do is I want to find a pencil with an eraser. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit more, and that just takes practice on how long you want your head to be. So that's good right there. Now what I want to do is I want to chop this off. I just want to do like almost like drawing the letter V again, except I'm just going to draw one side of that V. So I'm going to do right here. See, if I kept going, it would be like this. But then I want to do right here as well. So that makes that jawline, that chin, that chisels that out to make that chin. Let me erase this. And you can see. And you're like, Brian, why don't you have an eraser on your blue pencil? Because these erasers are not really good. They wear out really quick. So now, instead of having a square head guy, let's do this. Let's round this off just a little bit. Round that off. And round that off. Right there are those corners. Chop those corners off. So you have that. Now this is more of your drawing a man. When you have more of a pointy chin, you're drawing a woman or a girl, but this is more of your man, or more of your superhero type. So if I'll give him a nice thick neck like that, and I'll put some ears here, without the face, you can say, oh, wow, he's powerful. That could be Captain America or Thor or something like that. Not Hulk. Hulk is a little bigger. So these are easy ways to draw your face. When you're drawing a front face, now we'll get into doing side faces and 3/4 faces where you turn just your face just a little bit. But I want to show you right now just how easy it is to draw the shape of a face. So if you've been drawing faces like this, just a circle, you can still do that, but just add just a little bit of that V or the letter U, like that. But you want to kind of make it wider just a little bit. If you're doing a letter U, don't have it straight up and down like this. Kind of bring it out a little bit more. Just a little. You don't want your face too wide. So, and you want to bring it down because let's just say your nose is going to go right here on this circle. So if my nose is going to go here, my mouth has got to be a little further down. So I'm going to bring it like this. You're just giving room for your mouth and your nose. So simple way, circle, and then a triangle, which is not pointed, or the letter U, square or rectangle. Chop this off like I'm going to do my letter V, and chop this off here. Now, if I did a big letter V, it would look like that, chopping it off. But that might be a little too much, so just chop it off right there. And if I'm going to do a big circle, I'm just going to do my circle like this, half a circle like this. And then you have your shape for your head. As I say, usually if I'm going to draw a female or a little girl or female, I'll give them more of a pointy chin like that. Not point like this, but just give it more point and less of the U, and give it more like this. Give it a little more point like that. And then one thing about it, if you're drawing a neck for a superhero, if you're doing the rectangle shape, bring that neck straight down. If you're drawing a female like this, you want to bring her neck in. Or if you're doing somebody young, bring the neck in even more. Neck in and then go to the shoulders. So as I say, when you grow up, everything gets bigger except your eyes. I said that in the last video. You're born with the same size eyes that you will end up dying with, because your eyes do not grow. So when you're born, if your eyes are this big, it'll stay that big your whole life. You don't have little baby eyes, you know, like little baby eyes like that, and then they grow bigger. They are the same size when you're born. That's why babies are cute, because they have those big eyes and a little teeny face. Okay, so let's add some character to these faces. Well, let's turn them around a little bit. If I have a ball, let me see this ball right here. And if I have a marker somewhere, maybe this will do. Let's say this ball is, I gotta put the line in it first, gotta put the line in it, facing you. This line is straight up and down. Even though this ball is round, if I turned it, you'll see that it's round. This line is straight in front of you. So this is going to represent this right here. Even though that head is round, when it's straight in front of you, it's going to look like that. Now, when that head turns, that line is going to turn around too. So this is one reason why a lot of art teachers will say use a circle first and then add to it. So let's just say, and then I'll put my chin here. So this is straight on. So once this starts to turn, this line the same way in this ball is going to turn as well. It's going to turn on that circle. And then at the bottom, it's going to go straight down. Straight down. Now that's turning the head. Now, if you do a profile, profile is, if my eye is here, let's do this. Let's mark up my ball a little bit more. Say my eye is right here. And here's my other eye. See that? This ball is in the eye. Let's give it a nose. Let's give it a nose. And a mouth. But the mouth and the nose, the mouth is not going to be on the round part. It's going to be on the lower part. But I'm just doing this for the ball's sake. For the sake of the ball. For your sake, so that you can understand the puzzle. Straight in front of you. Once it turns, that line is going to turn as well. And you see how you see both eyes? This eye kind of disappears behind the line that is turning. Okay, so this is why you need that flat piece. It makes it better. But just for the sake of it, you're going to lose one eye. You won't lose it. It'll still be there. You just won't see it. So if you do a profile, you're only going to see one eye. Profile, it means you just see the side of the face. You're just going to see that one eye. The nose will come out in the mouth. So let me show you how I draw profiles. When I draw a profile, and this is called a 3/4 view right here. When you turn your head slightly, that's a 3/4 view. So if I ever say 3/4 view, you know that means I just turned his head to look this way. So if I do a profile, this is what I will do for a profile. Make it easy. I will draw my square. Square, maybe a little more rectangle. I will do the plus symbol right here. Now it looks like a window, which is just square, 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 square. Everything is a shape. Okay, so at this window, at this line here, this center line, I'm going to do a V. Well, it's going to be like this. This is going to be here. This is a V sideways. V, yeah, V sideways. So you just want to chop that off flat. So it's kind of like doing an L like that. Here's your L really. Here's your L, here's your opposite L. So you just tilt that back like that. Tilt that back. So they're going to do this, tilt that back like that. And then on this line here, I'm going to do a V. Let me darken this so you guys can see it a little better. Let me use a different pen. So I'm going to do a V like this. Here's my letter L, opposite L, flat, but it's going in. And then here, I'm going to do another V right here. See, these are all shapes, shapes and letters, shapes and letters. So I'm going to do a line. This is my profile. I'm forgetting what I'm doing. I'm going to show you the face more in the next video. I just want you guys to get the head. So I'm going to just do basic face. So you center that, top lip, bottom lip. So what I did was this. I did this V, like that. Put a line in the middle. Your top lip comes out like this, and your bottom lip rounds like that. So, okay, here's my V for my eye. I'll do a circle right here. This is going to come out, and then it's going to form the chin. Just like we did this, like we rounded this off, we're going to round this part off here. Come back here, and on this line here, my ear is going to be there. And that's just a letter C. Okay, that's just drawing the letter C. This is going to come down to the mouth, and then this is going to curve around to the chin and up like that. And you can have this, and then this, the neck. That's a fat neck, Brian. So basically, curve right here. Chop this off. That's basically how I would do a profile using that square. Now, I'll draw this better when we get into faces. I'll make it a little bigger so that you can understand it. But that's a perfect profile with just the square. And then you round it off. So if I did like the eyebrows, some eyelashes. If it's a woman, I'll round the mouth out, make it a little thicker. Put some lipstick on her. And then, of course, you have to have your hair, depending on if it's a female or male. And notice how high my hair is. You don't want hair just to be right on the head coming off like that. You want nice fluffy hair. You don't want flat hair. And then there's my female. As I said, I'll do better when we get into faces. But right now, I want you to show you the shape of the head. And then you can add your face to it. All right, so we're going to add a generic face. We're going to measure the face right now. We're going to measure the face. So let's draw another face. And I put my measurements because you have to know where everything goes. So I'm just going to draw just my oval. Draw my oval, but then I'll bring it in more narrow. So no, let's stick with the lesson. Circle, and then my little rounded off cone, okay? Then I will erase this. Center line, just like on the ball, center line, right here. Now, half of this whole thing, let's just say this whole thing is, let's say 12 inches. This is 12 inches. If you know anything about measuring, 12 inches. So 6 inches down, half of this, right there, a line going half of that. On that line, that's going to be your eye line. So I'm going to use the word line, eye line, right? Okay, so this is going to be your eyes. Your eyes are going to be on this line. Now from here, let's do another color. From here to the bottom, what did it say? Let's say that's 3 inches. We do 12, this is like 6 inch. So in the center of this, from here to here, in the center of this is where your nose is going to go. Oh, you decided to get angry on me. So as I say, from the center, from this to this point here, This is where your nose is going to go, center. Now, again, from here to the bottom of your chin, center that is where your mouth is going to go. Right about there. So, as I say, it's like a puzzle. You measure everything, or everything has a place for it to go. So, with this, you would have your perfect face. Now, every face is different. Okay, now somebody might want to have a longer chin. Like if I'm doing like a spooky character or a bad guy character, I might want his face to be long, like with a long chin and a fat head. Like he's like a mastermind genius. Okay, give him a long chin, and his mouth is like way down here, and his nose is up here, and his eyes are like way up here. So every face is different. So don't try to be perfect in the first time. And this will work with the square as well. If I use my red pencil, this will same thing with the rectangle as well. Same thing. You just have to round the edges off and then chop these edges off and kind of make that flat, depending. The male has a flat chin. The female or girl, woman or girl, will have more of a round chin. Now, let's draw a nose first. Let's say here's my nose. I'm going to use a V for a nose. Let's get some color. Let's add some color. Here's my nose. I'm going to put a V. So this is the letter V, so I'm going to stretch it out just like this. And just open it and flatten it like that. So this is going to be my V right there. That's going to represent my nose for now. Next video, we'll get in detail. This one is just measuring and doing the face. So if I bring this all the way up, if I take this nose, no matter how wide I make it, and you don't want to make it too wide, you can. My villain can have like a big nose, big old nose like this. He can, or my cartoon character. And let me ink that because he's turning out to be a real cat. But if you're drawing a realistic face, you want to keep the nose not too big. You want to keep the nose a nice size. So if you go all straight up with those lines right here, this is where your eyes start, right here, okay? So I'm going to just do two shapes like this. Your eyes are right at the center, right on those, because you can fit a third eye on your nose unless you got a big nose character like this. Like that. Now, from the center of your eye, I know I should have did this a little bigger, and I might have to bring her chin down, or the character chin down. From the center of your eye, straight down. That's the length of your mouth. Okay? This is measuring. Now, from your nose, straight down to, this is your chin. This is your chin. This is kind of like the size of your chin before you start to curve it. Okay? Now again, your chin can be any size if you're doing like your cartoon character, but this is more trying to draw realistically. What was that? Okay, so this line at the bottom of your nose, and let's just say the center of your ear, it's going to be a little higher. Your ear is going to go like this. Same thing on the other side, but I have all this stuff on the other side. Let's see if I can get rid of it. Now another thing is you really don't want your head to be too wide. You can, because if you're doing somebody young kids have more bigger heads, and adults' heads kind of shrink. So I'll draw another one, and I won't have this so wide, and you can kind of follow along. So your ear is going to go between that line and that line. And your neck is going to go like right up under the ear. And that determines your age of your character by the neck. So I think we have all the measurements down. Now when you draw a mouth, it's good to draw your bottom lip. It's good to draw your bottom lip. That just it looks better. And then of course your eyebrows. And when you draw people, the face actually tells you the expression. If somebody came in your room and they were crying, you know they were sad. If they were smiling, you know they were happy. If they had their eyes closed and the teeth gritted, you know they were probably mad. So whenever you draw characters, you have to kind of know how to draw the face in order to give some expression. Like this. It's just like a ho-hum kind of face. But if I did this, where's an eraser? If I did this, if I just turned it up, that changes the whole expression. And if I give him some little wrinkles on the side, you know he was extra happy. And so I would do the same thing with the bottom lip. Turn it up as well. So the face tells the story. Now, so we have all our things, and I put my eye here, my other eye there. And the more little details you add, the more realistic it will become. And I can turn my nose up a little bit like this, round that bottom off. And you see how it's becoming more of a boy. Pinocchio is becoming a boy. So I will bring this in a little bit. Oh, one more thing. The line for the mouth, that's where your chin, you come down and your chin comes in at. Your jaw, where you open your mouth up, that's where it comes in at. So just remember these points. Just go back and look at it again and again and again, and then you will understand. So if this is a little boy, because his head is big, I would bring his neck in like this, a little bit more. Let me show you this, since we're on the subject of necks. I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4 ovals. Okay, so these are going to represent the head. It's going to be an ear and an ear, an ear and an ear, ear and an ear, ear and an ear. Okay, so they can say, basically you can say they're all the same. So if I did this little neck here, and if I brought that neck out a little bit more, and I brought that neck out a lot more, and I brought that neck out a lot more, you can kind of tell the age and the size. This is more like if you want to draw the Hulk, you draw that big neck. This is kind of somebody that goes to the gym every day, like Captain America. This would be like your average guy, and this would be your young guy. And remember, when you're young, you're gonna have that little chin. When you're old and rugged and strong, you're gonna have a square chin. And that's why I say I do this. When I do my male characters, you're gonna have a big square chin like this, with the big strong cheekbones, nose. Well, okay, let's take that expression off of his face. Let's give him a He-Man expression. Put his eyes back, so he's gonna be like this. And just by changing the lines in different directions, just a few lines, you can change the whole personality or expression. But remember the neck. So if a woman would not have a neck like this, or not so much that, but usually like this, and the shoulders around that. A woman or a girl, and remember, now by just doing the neck, you can see it is turning into a female along with the chin. Now if I did the hair, that would be more of the female face with this pointed chin and a small nose, small neck. I lost it for a second. I don't know where I was going. I was trying to draw this mouth. And that's just a crazy face that I'm just doing. So, and remember, you don't want the hair like this, like girls used to draw back in my time. The hair would just come off the head just like this. You don't. That's that wet look, like somebody dumped a bucket of water on your head. You want the hair, even if you're drawing a guy, you want the hair to come off of his head. And of course, we'll get into doing hair and all kind of stuff. But first, you have to know the shape of the face before you can actually go any further. So if I ink this guy, he almost looks like Wreck-It Ralph a little bit. Little cheekbones, big chin. And that expression, he's like, and his hair, his ear, and his big neck with his t-shirt on, his Muscle Man t-shirt, and his shoulders. So now that's doing more of a cartoon drawing. You might like the cartoon. This is more of the realistic drawing. So I'm going to end this video. Let me draw another face, more realistic face, and let you see and kind of follow along if you can. So I'm going to draw the egg shape first. I'm going to draw the oval first. This is my oval. Make this a little oval, and then I'm going to make sure my chin comes in more. And I just do this just so I can get the right shape. So I'll just keep doing that. I mean, you can draw the circle and then this like that. It just makes it easier. But for me, then I'll center line, center between this and this, center line, center between this and this is that. So remember my nose. So I'm going to do my eye. Right there. I'm going to do just a V for my nose. And as I said, the next video, we'll get into doing more detailed faces. My mouth, I'm going to give it a little shape to my mouth. Bottom lip. And of course, your ear it would be here. Actually, it would be at the top of the eye, but we'll do that later. Because this is the center of your eye. Whenever I do this line, I'll put half up top, half at the bottom. So it's going to be at the top of the eye to the bottom. My chin, he's going to be a young guy. Like that. Cheeks, my jawbones are going to come here, and then it's going to turn in. It's going to come down, turn in, give him a little round. Now what I want to do up here is I want to flatten this out and then curve it in. Just flatten it in out a little bit and then curve it in. And then I'm ready to do my character. And just by doing some little extra lines, he becomes more realistic than more of a cartoon. Cartoon, let's just say I'll do cartoon of this guy. The big round eyes, nose, the mouth, the ears. Now you might be drawing like this now, but now you can draw more realistic, or you can stick with the cartoon depending on your style. And the eyes. So this is the same person in a cartoon form and more realistic form. So let me do the realistic form, and then I'll add some extra details, and you see how quickly it becomes even more realistic. So the eyes. Let's see the nose. And I will give him these, give him some eyelashes. And as I say, I'll kind of bring this in a little bit more. And you have your cheekbones, your ear. Right here comes down and it turns in right at that line for that mouth. And give him a little neck. He's a young guy, put a little t-shirt on him. And then actually I am ready for Just put a little line down here. I'm ready for some hair. So however hair, and I would just look at some magazines, you know, or use your own kind of hair to put hair on somebody. Or a friend, take a picture of a friend or somebody that's got good hair, or the hairstyle you like, or the haircut you like, and then you have it. And here's my little cartoon character, which is nothing wrong with that, because a lot of times I like to draw cartoons as well. Give him that round face. Here's his little nose, his mouth. We'll make him a little happier. His ear. Give him a little chin, little neck, and then, however I drew this hair before. And make that eye black. So that would be the difference between drawing more realistic and drawing more cartoony. So you might not want to draw realistic. You might want to stick with the cartoons, as I say. It's easier to make the jump from cartoon to realistic. So that's going to be it for this video. So you guys have some lessons that you can practice. Just remember what we went over: the measuring and the shapes. Shapes are always, always, always important. So, all right, so I will call this class done, and here is the bell. And I will see you guys in the next lesson, where we will do more of the face itself. Now that you practice the head, we'll do more of the face. All right, so see you guys in the next video.